Another one. You ready? Here we are, ladies and gents. Welcome to the show. What a time it is to be alive. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. The live chat crew and the replay crew. Thank you for being in here tonight. Man, oh man. It is close to the end of the month of September, y'all. Can y'all believe it? I can't. Maybe just a little. Because this month has gone by real steady, I would say. And here we are, the 24th of September. And I wasn't sure what to come up here and talk about today because a lot has crossed my mind and I've seen on the social media airwaves. And man, literally probably like the last 10-15 minutes I decided, yep, that's what it's gonna be. You know. So tonight's topics, we're gonna talk about what's going on. Jimmy Kimmel, the Dallas ICE attack, in Rapture 2025 with a question mark? Without any further ado, I want to acknowledge some of the folks in the comments. I'll say hello to the lovely Miss Jennifer Star McCollum. How are you doing? She says hello. Welcome. Appreciate you coming in tonight. For those that are new here, checking out the channel, I am Unveiled Vibrations, and what I'm about over here is resonating with the other side of silence. A lot of our conversations that tend to happen in the world are internal dialogues, and sometimes that is not vocalized, and other times it may be in secrecy, smaller groups as we talk about it. And I'm making my thing here to talk about it out loud, publicly. Share some of my intrusive thoughts on some of these things that I have seen transpired. And occasionally I may come up here and dabble in making some music because I'm also a musician. Um, I am mustering up the confidence to eventually play my principal instrument, which is saxophone, up here live. But my intrusive thoughts is I'm just not there right now. Like, I love playing the saxophone, just not quite where I want to be with that. And it has been a while since I tooted my horn. And so I think I will take a little bit of time to knock the cobwebs off of my horns before I bring it here to you. But it's in the parts. It is in the works. And so now I will proceed with the topics of the evening. This might be a short show. So, ladies and gentlemen, recently the late night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel was canceled by El Presidente Taco, as many people have called him, for alleged things that was said that hurt his feelings. Agent Orange didn't like that and put the pressure washer up on the backs of Disney and blew them away and forced them to get rid of the unwanted chatter. And what ensued after that was a quiet scuffle, I would add. And this scuffle was between the American people and the network parent company, Disney. And what ensued was people said, not our Jimmy Kimmel. We like Jimmy. Jimmy funny. You know what? If you're going to cancel Jimmy, we're going to cancel you. And for about 3 to 4 days straight, the bleeding and the water started leaking out of the ship of Disney. Y'all, Disney lost almost $4 billion in this. from people up subscribing from Hulu and Disney Plus to canceling vacations, canceling weddings. Even people sold their stocks. Like the Disney was on its way down and they were sinking fast. Um, and the power of that goes to the people. Power to the people, because um, what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. Uh, Agent Orange and Company, Sir Taco and Friends, um, say they were champions of freedom of speech. However, they are champions um, when the speech is in favor of whatever said action has come about, when they getting a good old pat on the shoulders. They feel like that is what everybody's supposed to do. And when this particular incident came up, all I heard from the trumpet's mouth was, all y'all do is criticize, criticize, criticize. Y'all ain't got no other kind of jokes. It was like, well, I mean, the reason why they are joking about you is because you hadn't done anything right all this time. Go figure. And as you continue to not do anything right to move us forward as a collective country instead of selective country club membership, I promised myself I wouldn't call it this, but it is what it is. Fascist um, regime. We find ourselves more divided than united. On a previous video, I spoke about how this is no longer the United States. This is the divided states. And which was a republic in pursuit of democracy, loosely, I would say, for which it stands. It is a house that is falling apart quickly. I was like, huh. And I get it. You're embarrassed because the things that people are saying about you comedically hit hard, because it might be some truth to it. Let that sink in just for a little bit. And just think that if you weren't being so maliciously and I don't know what to really call it. It's like you absolutely loves spreading mischief and don't care at what level and degree it is done at and who it hurts until it's hit close to home. And at that point, that's when you decide, I had enough. I don't have to take this. And then you want to take your ball and run home. After you was over here throwing dirt, throwing rocks, kicking, scratching people in their face, and then you're mad because they're gonna fight back. You know, this is something that bullies do. They cry foul when they get checked on their bullyisms. And when a bigger bully comes along, or when the person that was on the receiving end of the bullying picks up a big stick and prepares to knock you on your, you cry foul. I wouldn't do anything. It's like it's mighty funny that you want to play innocent now after in the past years you've talked trash about Jimmy Kimmel. It says he's a loser and no one watches him. He doesn't have good ratings. And you did that specifically because that's what made you feel better about the fact that he got the best of you. Ain't no fun when the rabbits got the gun, right? And it's like, well, oh man. Um, all right. So now this whole ordeal with Jimmy Kimmel uh reached its pinnacle and Disney had to turn tail and pretty much reinstate him because the massive hole that they began to dig themselves in was going to send them to an early grave if it kept persisting. Because one thing for sure, Disney is all about the money and the legacy that was built under Walt Disney's name. And to see such a massive response in such a short time, huh, you you have to understand that when you provide a service to people, there can be some backlash. And when people willingly present their dollar bills in support of what you provide, just know that they can easily cut that thing off. And what you wind up with is a hole in your pocket and trying to explain where did it come from. And it's astonishing how quickly we went from this was horrible. Jimmy, he should have never said it was so insensitive to, well, it wasn't that bad what he said. To, okay, we overreacted. He can have his show back. And it was simply because the people wasn't having it. And it's that what has driven America all this time to know that it's the people that have the power to affect change, not the other way around. And once the people begin to wake up, hello, just maybe we might be able to get those Epstein's files a lot sooner than Christmas. Or not, because there are people that are against that even coming out because they have their own fears and reasons, and I don't understand why you even make this a campaign promise that you have to eat crow on. And I'm a little worried that something dramatic has to happen in order for this information to actually come out the way that it needs to come out. Unfortunately, we're just not there yet because um, if what happened a couple weeks ago to Mr. Kirk doesn't shift change in regards to Pew Pews in this nation, and this is my segue into the next topic coming up. Ain't nothing gonna change. Ain't nothing gonna change. We gonna still have these things to happen like today. Unfortunately, somebody we don't know all the facts, and but what we do know is somebody decided to attack an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas. And why would they do that? We can speculate that this person was radicalized by subject matters, different ideologies, different people of authority pointing fingers and saying certain things to fan the flames of such thing to happen, in which, according to the most recent report that I've seen, that some people have lost their lives today, including the person who initiated it. This attack on an ice facility. Why would you want to go and attack an ice facility? Oh, maybe potentially because someone said they were the problem. And what are we talking about? Who are they? We are talking about the immigrants. And what's so funny about it is, like what happened with Mr. Kirk, this is another person that has inscribed things on the elemental items that go into the chamber of the Pum Pums to leave the calling tags as a reason why they did what they did. Standing on the rooftop of an adjacent building, firing into the courtyard and building of the ice facility. Another domestic terrorist strikes again. But no one wants to call them that. No, 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 no. We're not going to call them domestic terrorists, because that doesn't fit the narrative that we have established here. But this is what it actually is: domestic terrorism. And why do we have this in this nation of all places? What's the reason for somebody to go to the extremes and do what they feel like they need to do, have a necessary cause to do? And it's usually because somebody said something that they agree with. Somebody pushed something into their face and it became so egregious to them that they felt they needed to do something about it, to make a statement. And at the end of the day, people's lives are at stake. And unfortunately, what happens is people is just left sitting with blank stares and shaking their heads in tears and asking the question, why? Why? Or how did it come to this? And no one wants to go to the root of that problem at all, because, hey, frankly, it means we have to put a mirror to our face and look at ourselves. And what hand did I have in this? It just makes me think about how a couple weeks ago, a Fox News host talked about unaliving homeless people. And literally, just a few days later, we have someone to go into a homeless camp in their city and decides to go on a mass tirade. to unalive those that are barely holding on to life. And why would they do that? Where would they get the unction and the idea to do such a thing? Because you guys keep fanning the flames and saying things under the protections of freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Well, it's my First Amendment right. I can say whatever I want. But when it comes to being held accountable for what you're saying and how it affects people and the outcomes of said things, you don't want to be held accountable for it because you don't want that blood on your hands. And it's to you, it's not my fault. It's everybody else's fault. They did this first. They made me say these things. Well, if they hadn't did this and that and I wouldn't have done this. Come on, man. Our country is too far gone. I say our country because it's the people that have the power to correct this and right this wrong direction the ship is going. It goes beyond voting. It goes beyond volunteering. It goes much deeper. And frankly, a lot of people don't want to think too deep about it because it starts to weigh on your soul. And you begin to feel like there is nothing that you can do to make people happy or than where they already are. Unfortunately, guess what? That's the price that we have to pay because the poor will always be there. The people will always have misfortunes. People will always come down on their luck. It's when people decide that everyone is not worth it. Everyone is no longer worth saving. And it's best to just eradicate everyone in hopes of starting over. Like, there is no such thing as starting over because all you're doing is recreating a cycle. It's a psychosis. It's a round around we go. Where do we stop? Nobody knows because what you do to people now will eventually happen to you later. It's karmic. Or you become the villain of your own story after being victimized for a long time. Because what happens over time is rigor mortis sets in a little bit, just a little bit, because you become numb to humanity in general. And as that chips away at you, you no longer long to be part of this world. Unfortunately, you become cold, and that ain't living. You officially become the walking dead at that point. For those that have watched the series The Walking Dead, you understand that, like, at some point, everyone become so cold blooded and numb to the circumstances that they do anything to just survive. Can you imagine this country in the state of where everybody just does anything to survive? That's where the divided states is headed to. And maybe, just maybe, that's what needs to happen. We need to have the shock of a lifetime of going through a time period in which everything is absolutely deplorable for us to desire to go back to something better. Just maybe. Who knows? Some people out here thought so much of it that they were ready to go. And at the moment's notice of the Rapture 2025, they were ready to sell all of their belongings and hand off all of their worldly possessions and cut ties with humanity and go up to the upper room. Y'all, I ain't never laughed so hard looking at the internet with people out here talking about we have the date, September 23rd or 24th, question mark, is the days that the rapture shall begin. And last I checked in the Bible, it tells us clearly in Matthew, we don't know the day nor the hour. But somehow magically y'all pinpointed this particular day. And it made me chuckle, and I was like, who started this? And what was so funny about it is because people were watching other cultures from around the world, and this one particular, I'm using this brand of people decided that they will conduct a series of rituals that they have adopted or interpreted from scriptures and scrolls as the beginning of the end. And from that, people started to look into astrological things as well as uh prophetic words. And my thing is this: if Jesus was returning, biblically, we would have never knew. There's no ritual that will let us know this. There's because it says specifically, we don't know the day nor the hour. The time does not exist. And my thing is this now. So this is not the first time that y'all have predicted the end of the world. Let's go back in time and let's unfold this onion and really dissect what has happened. Y'all said that the end was coming from 1999 to 2000 because the computers were all going to shut down and the world was going to go to shit because we function off of the use of computers at that point in time. And it was a Y2K crisis. And what happened? The clock kept ticking. We kept going. It's 2025. Y2K ain't affect us at all. Right? Or did some people sneak out of here and didn't tell nobody else? Just let me know. Just let me know what y'all think. Because apparently we all are still here and nobody has checked out. Now, here's something interesting. Around 2012, there was allegations that there would be a pandemic. This was said in 2012. 2012, people, that there would be a worldwide pandemic one day. And they had alleged specifically around 2020. Now, this happened. This actually happened. Why? Because we all were there to witness it. We saw this go down in 2020. Now, what was so funny about 2012 was in the year 2012, everybody was talking about how the Mayans were predicting the end of the world, and the end of the world was supposed to happen then in 2012. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. We were still there going. And then what people do? What do they say? They say, oh, we misinterpreted it. The Mayans, they're on a different calendar than us. They're still a few years behind us. So they hadn't reached 2012 yet. Really? Like, really? You guys sound real silly, right? I mean, really silly to say that y'all knew when the end was coming. Now, when 2020 came and that pandemic ran through the world, people really started thinking that this was it. This was the end of the world. And as we look back in history, we saw that this wasn't the first time that we had a worldwide pandemic. Go figure. 1920, there was a worldwide pandemic. It was called smallpox and such. There was a little bit of COVID that happened back then too, but it wasn't as big as this COVID. And a lot of people have allegations and beliefs that this was a planned pandemic with the Spanish flu and everything back there in 1920. Yes. And here we are. 2020 happened, and because how it was mishandled, because of misinformation from leaders of certain countries, mainly the United States, and the sheer fact that they just didn't care to know how to deal with it properly, even though experts were telling them what they were finding out, we lost a lot of people. Now, what if that was the rapture? That was the real rapture. And everybody here that's here today, right now, missed it. Well, uh oh. What are we going to do? We still have to live on. We, there's nothing for us to do because, frankly, it wasn't a rapture. Because, according to the scholar that spoke of it, King Jesus himself was supposed to come down from heaven and present himself to the world and then call everybody up, lift them up out of their clothes into the air, ascending to heaven. That's the urban legend, how it was told. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's the gist of it. Everybody was supposed to take flight and ascend up. And I'll tell you, boy, when that didn't happen yesterday, which was the day, nor happened today. What are y'all talking about, man? You have ministers in South Africa talking about, oh yes, yes, I've spoke with God and this is what he says. And after the findings is it wasn't true, you're still trying to double down on it. Oh yes, it's gonna happen. It's coming. It's coming. You just wait and see. No, man. Quit pandering to people's fears. Quit that, man. Because it's that make religion look foolish. It's doing stuff like that make people non-believers. because it makes not only you look like a fool, it makes everyone look like a fool. And one thing I can tell you for sure, if this was going to happen the way that y'all said it was going to happen, God would have said it to everyone. God would have made himself known to everyone. Now, will there be a day when this happens? Yes, there will be a day when this happens. It's just not going to happen the way that you think it will happen, because we're literally going off of the translation and words of people that had limited knowledge of the future, people that had very little understanding and words to use in place of words that they found hard to translate in the first place. And here we are, being witness to yet again call to end time, and to know that there were people so foolish enough that they cleaned out their whole entire bank account and now want their money back. The joke's on you. To see the videos of the people that were going out into the woods and they said, yes, it's happening at 7 a.m. on the dot. And they gathered before sunrise and started jumping up and down in the air like they was going to just catch flight and go. It was hilarious. Now, the ones that was even funnier to me were the ones that were doing spoofs and making videos of people's clothes just laying out on the ground outside the house. Oh my God. Woo! Humanity has a sense of humor. Indeed. And this was something that we all could come together on, because yeah, there were people that were extreme believers and thought this was the end. And then there were us that knew this wasn't the end and would sit there, laugh at you, but then call you on, come on inside, come on back home. I got a plate of fish for you right here. You can have a couple of these Hawaiian rolls with it. I got some hot sauce. I got some gumbo. I got some fried chicken. I got some collard greens, mashed potatoes right here waiting on you. Come on over here. We gonna sit down and we gonna talk about it. Sorry for making you hungry if all that I was just talking about made you hungry. But the point is, we got you. It's all right. You got a little egg on your face. We're going to give you a nice warm washcloth to wipe that off. And guess what? We're going to live. We're going to live. Live to fight another day here on earth. Because God ain't ready to bring us home. God ain't ready to bring us home yet. Okay? I repeat, God ain't ready to bring none of us home yet. Um, and what's so funny about it, like I had one of these weird, wicked dreams some years ago. Like I want to say it was like 2021, around December 2021, and oh no, was it? Yeah, it was December 2020, coming in to 2021. In this specific dream, what I saw was the moon and the stars were in alignment, and I think this was around the same time where there was a conjunction alignment with Jupiter and Saturn was going on, and I had this in my dream that this happened. They came back together at that time, and what happened in my dream was I heard a trumpet sound like the shofar that kind of sound, and it shook the entire earth. And then a flash of light happened in the sky, and everyone heard the voice of God all at once, worldwide, not just in the United States, not just over there in Israel, not just over there in South Africa, not just over there in Iran. And everyone were able to hear what was said in their native tongue, despite where they were in the world. This was my dream that I had. And after the earth shook, the flash of light dissipated. Like, a reverse uh solar eclipse. So instead of the earth going dark in a solar eclipse, the earth lit up in a blinding white light, the brightest of white lights. Like you have a LED light in front of your face and it is on full blast kind of thing. That's what I had in my dream. And to understand that it's that kind of level in which I perceive the end of the world to be, to come to pass, not the way that everyone else is depicting. And even now, I still don't know what to make of it because even as a dream interpreter, that dream has so many meanings and so many hidden nuances in it that I have to constantly go back and dissect and reinterpret that maybe, just maybe, eventually I'll have the revelation of that dream to completely share what it was mean because as we went into 2021 and it was so funny because the first few days of 2021 was just as bad as 2020 where earthquakes, fires and storms and lotus and all this stuff was going all over the world. You're like, whoa, 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 what you doing, Lord? You trying to show us something, right? It's like, my connection, God, he's like, hey, I got signs and wonders for you. Y'all want to see a display? I got a display for you. And I understand that. Look, when we going into 2026, we're going to see some stuff happen that we ain't ever seen before. And these things, you're not just going to be able to explain biblically away. Because, unfortunately, the end times are not what we think they are based off of what was described in the Bible. The end times are much. Okay, let me speak to y'all spiritually. Okay. I'm feeling this, and so the end times that we are anticipating to come are filled with a great deal of things that we as humans will not be able to easily explain. We are not going to be able to simply say, yes, this scripture, this verse, this book of the Bible said this, and it's going to happen A, B, C, D in that order. No, it's not going to happen that way. And what's going to be bad is you're going to hear people tell you, number one happened, number two happened. All right, number three is on its way, and number four is going to be this. And it's not going to be any of that. And you were like, well, damn it, what is it going to be then? It's like, why are we so quick to make it to the end? Do we not have anything else to live for as a people? Have we reached the pinnacle of our species? I would say no, but I'm pretty sure there are people out there that feel different. Unfortunately. And we have to share this world with those that feel different. I know there's a lot of people that were really hoping on this rapture coming, and they be the chosen people to leave this world behind because, frankly, I tell you, this world has shifted in such a way that it is terrible for some of us. And it's great for others that they all they want to do is retain their power in this life and into the next. And don't care who they step on to get there. And then there's those that want to return to a time period in which they feel that their chances of surviving whatever is to come will be greater if other people were no longer here. Um, what's bad about that is when those people are no longer here, right? Your problems still won't go away. Your problems will actually increase. And what you'll find yourself in is a new set of circumstances inflamed by your old. What you gonna do then? You're stuck in it then. If every black person left the country of North America, these people will absolutely lose their mind and try to bring us back after they realize what they have lost. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'll just leave it there on that cliffhanger. And in my night there, I would like to say hello to those that I did not get a chance to say hello to that popped in. Hello, Dustin. Thank you for dropping in, brother. Appreciate you. Support and liking the live tonight. He says, I hope everyone had a great Wednesday and I love you. We love you too, brother. Good evening from Musically Me. 1, 2, 3. Hello, good evening to you. Thank you for dropping in. I appreciate your love. Thank you for your support. I'll say this to end everything. I go through these banners, in which I am happy to share this with y'all. Thank you for coming. If you want to follow me on here on YouTube and TikTok, it is Unveil Vibrations. I do have some music available for purchase and live streaming. It is 3 singles out, and I am fixing my mind to release some more. But I gotta get the cobwebs out and cogwheels turning. You can stream them under the name TD McCollum and follow my music channel, Mr. TD McCollum. CashApp me if you like, Mr. TD McCollum on CashApp. And if you dare to talk about me about anything that you see out there as well, you can email me at apostletdmccollum@gmail.com. Catch me Saturday morning at 10 a.m. right here with my brother and my wife, where we come together and pray and do a devotional and catch up on weekly current events and such. Faithful Warrior Ministries. There it is. If no one has ever told you they love you and they I need you to know that you are loved. I love you. And I hope the best for you all. I'm going to get out of here. All right. Good night.